Welcome to At the Office, Cleveland's home for sports talk that never clocks out. From the latest headlines to heated debates, we're diving into everything sports. It's your hosts, Noah, John, and Erik.
Cleveland! Welcome into the office, the show where we talk all things Cleveland sports. I'm your host, Noah, joined with my co-host, live and in person. How you doing, John?
Doing well, brother.
Hanging out here on the East Bank of the Flats while there is a Journey concert going on, while Evan Mobley has become the Defensive Player of the Year, and today is the NFL Draft, and man, I can't wait. This show has been on my bucket list for a very long time. Erik, John, how are we doing?
I'm doing well. I think my hearing's going, hearing you yell right next to me, but other than that, I like the excitement. I'm ready to go. I've been excited for this for a while, too.
I've been excited as well. I was coming into this thinking it's been a long day. It's towards the end of the week. I'm a little tired. And then Noah screamed at jet engine noise in my ear. Got me woken up. I'm ready to go. It's our
Call
Super
me
Bowl
the
day.
MF and Rooster because it's time to wake up. The Cleveland Browns are going to be on the clock, and we got plenty of things to talk about. But, we got to kick it a little normal to get it started. And by kick it normal, I mean start off as we always do here on the show, on the page, with 30-second takes. And I kind of grouped this all together because we had some last-second breaking news. Evan Mobley, Defensive Player of the Year. So, 30-second takes today. Cavaliers reactions after 2 playoff games, and Evan Mobley, Defensive Player of the Year. Got to wrap it all up into one. Erik, I'm going to throw you on the clock and get us started, man.
I think John's starting us here.
Okay, why is that?
Because I'm starting the next one.
Okay, you could have started. You could have started twice,
It's
man.
okay,
It's a live show.
It's his first day. It's okay.
Right.
He'll
It is not
get
my first
there.
day. John, are you ready?
I'm ready. I'll give myself an extra 2 seconds. I'm really happy with the Cavs, right? Not only did they get 2 wins, but they look different in both of them. And one of them, Mobley didn't look so hot. Then he looked great. Hunter wasn't involved. Then he got involved. It just showed that the Cavs can beat you in a multitude of ways. Doesn't matter how you win and how you look. It matters that you win. And in years past, we'd be like, where's Darius Garland? I think this year they're out for blood, and they look like they mean business.
Dude, you got 7 seconds. So
I can't see the timer in front of me because I didn't get the thing up on my screen. But
cheat on my screen, man. Cheat on my screen. Now you're off the clock. Erik, I'm going to let you go, man. You ready?
I am. First of all, apologies. I was trying to set up our live Instagram, and you're just throwing shit to me. But I'll echo exactly what John said. I couldn't be happier. I mean, it's an ideal start. I don't like that we let them get back into the game in game 2, but we look amazing. I mean, we're hitting our shots. We're doing exactly what we thought would happen. I haven't seen the defensive side, clam up like we thought we would, tighten up. But overall, how can you not be happy with a 2-0 start?
Yeah, I'm going to throw myself on there and echo the same sentiments. I was never worried about them letting the Heat back into yesterday's game. The Heat were bruised, scarred in game 1. Game 2, they came out with a little firepower after 2 days rest, getting to sleep in the same bed for once after all over the country the last couple games. So ecstatic that they are 2-0. Take 1 in Miami, and that's all she wrote in my mind. Not that I'm really worried about this series. And for all you Evan Mobley haters, I want an apology because I've been on that man's side since day 1.
That is true. I will give you credit where it's due. You called at the very beginning of the season that if the Cavs were going to make any sort of run, it would flow through Evan Mobley. And I think there's a lot of pieces on this team, but you were absolutely right that he has unlocked a bigger piece of his game, and I give you credit for calling that.
Credit where it's credit due, for sure. Noah's been on the Evan Mobley bandwagon for longer than I have. I think he looks great. I do have a question on something, Erik. You said you didn't like that they got down in that game, or it got up big and then blew the lead, so to speak. And I do kind of like it. Even though it's not fun to watch a team blow a lead like that, I think the playoffs are more about facing adversity and overcoming it. And I'm actually kind of glad that it's not the Boston Celtics game 3 on the road or at home or when we got to win, or it's where they're trying to figure it out. I think they were kind of battle tested and rose to the occasion. So I was kind of glad to see it. because they won. Now, had they lost, it'd be different.
No, I like that perspective. I'm just saying when you're up 24 points or whatever it was and letting them get back into it at the end, I hope that's not indicative. You're right. It's the right time to do that if there is ever a time, but I hope it's not indicative of we're going to see that with another team that's going to make us pay and we're not going to win because of it.
Makes sense.
My thing with this whole series is the Miami Heat have always been a tough, gritty franchise. I say franchise because it doesn't matter what the team is. It doesn't matter who's playing for said team. They are always tough. They are always gritty. And I like that as a first-round matchup for this Cavs team to shake off a little bit of the rust because we've been coasting a little bit, but still have to play some hard basketball. Not hard Orlando Magic basketball where we're bleeding and all of that, but really set the tone for what this playoff run could, should, and dare I say it, will be.
I think that we're all excited. I did throw a comment up there. I know we're going to pivot to the Browns, but Barry said, "Hey, Noah, where's your Sanders t-shirt?" And he's got a point. Where is it?
Yeah, so I'm not wearing the Sanders t-shirt. You kind of ruined my moment because if he does get drafted today, I was going to run and go throw it on and be like, here we go, and wrist, well, I guess it would be wrists up because it's the watch wrist. But right now, this is a Cleveland Browns moment, and it is not here for me to be hyperbolic. Thank you.
Gotcha.
It is not here for me to be hyperbolic. It is here for me to talk about the team the three of us and all of you watching at home care about the most. Yep. So I'm not wearing it right now.
One more question for you on the Cavs before we move on. Is anybody, I'm not saying that I am, but I've heard some scuttlebutt out there. Erik Spoelstra is a great coach. He does a lot with a little. Any worry that the comeback in game 2 was him figuring something out that might cause us problems on the road in game 3?
I was at the arena. We just got cold from 3. We were cold shooting. They didn't have Donovan Mitchell out there. So, no, I'm not worried about that whatsoever.
Here's what worries me. I agree with what Noah's saying. No, it doesn't worry me. And I give all credit due to Spoelstra because he is a hell of a coach. That said, what does worry me is that if you're not making buckets, then why aren't we driving the lane more? We have guys that can be fed in the paint and have a good game in the paint. So if that's the case, I trust in Kenny Atkinson. He's made adjustments that make sense. So I'm not worried there. And I don't know that he was worried, but okay, we're not making shots anymore. Stop relying on the 3 ball. Let's get inside. We have the talent to do it.
And I wonder if he got into that situation and thought to himself, this approach got me up 22 at one point. I don't want to abandon it. We haven't lost the game. We still have time, but I kept telling my wife too, I was watching the game with Mary and the girls, and I was like, hey, I know that they've went on a run. I know that things look like they're catching up, but Donovan Mitchell is resting, and when he comes in, dude's going to be lightning in a bottle. And I think he scored something like 8 consecutive points, then got fouled and went to the free throw line. So
Mitch is a beast.
The X factor. We got the best player on the court, and that always makes me feel
Listen,
better
here's
too.
the thing. What I want to see is what we're seeing, and that is guys are getting open and they're taking open looks.
Yeah.
If you're missing those open looks, that's okay. Every team's going to go cold. Golden State at their height has gone cold. That's fine. But get those good rotations and get those shots up because shooters are going to shoot, and I'm perfectly okay with that.
Shooters going to shoot.
There's one last thing I want to touch on while we're on the Cavs, and then we can go full-blown draft content for the rest of this show. And that is the fact that, yes, I deserve my flowers for my Evan Mobley call-out, and I will wear that crown. And where's the best
Where's
chain?
the chain? Yeah.
Did you not bring it?
Yeah, it should have been brought.
I need you guys to remind me, even though I should remember myself.
He is the oldest one here.
I brought the chairs. That's good. You're not standing, Erik.
The main
Fair enough.
thing to me that still sticks out for this Cleveland Cavaliers team right now, it isn't Evan Mobley. It isn't. I mean, it is. It is all parts of this. But for the purpose of my take, it isn't Evan Mobley. It isn't Donovan Mitchell. It isn't Darius Garland. It is the emergence of Ty Jerome. That man is filthy. He has been filthy through 2 games, and he's going to continue to be filthy in this playoff. And if anybody out here said they could have predicted that from Ty Jerome this year,
they're crazy.
Yeah.
He's almost a little too good for my taste because we're not going to be able to re-sign him when his contract's up, but we'll worry about that later.
All the articles are we will be able to, and I'm just hanging my hat on that hope because you guys are absolutely right. He is an animal. You need a bucket, put him in. I mean, he's one of those guys where, speaking of hyperbolic, I want the ball in his hands if the game's on the line at the end. Yep. That's hyperbole for sure, because there are other guys, but I mean,
Only a
I don't know,
few.
man. He's that good. He's that dude.
He is that good. Listen, gentlemen, we could talk basketball, but there is going to be plenty of playoff basketball to talk about with this Cavs team. I mean, let's be for real here. They are making it out of the first. They're making it out of the second. They might make it out of the Eastern Conference Finals. Remember when you said that was the ceiling, John?
Yes, sir.
I do. But first, we got someone to shout out here. And if you're watching the video version of the show, there's a beautiful bottle pointed right there. John is picking it up right now, and that is D&D Meadery. D&D Meadery is honey wine. Two brothers, Derek and Dominic, from Northeast Ohio, made, crafted, all up here. Eric, talk a little bit more about D&D.
First of all, it's good stuff. We all have gone through quite a few bottles at this point. They have a couple different flavors. I've only had the honey wine, which is what you have here. It's their award-winning mead. But they have a few different flavors. I know your buddy tried a few and loves them all.
My buddy Matt, one of the other hosts here, he's had the maple, he's had the blueberry. There's multiple flavors. This stuff is fantastic.
Blueberry sounds good.
I gotta try the blueberry.
Listen, I can't. I know they're a sponsor, but we're not full of shit when we do this, and we tell you, if it was terrible, they wouldn't be a sponsor. We'd probably cut them. It's good stuff. Order your bottle and use the code to get some money off.
And speaking of the code, that code is @the-office CLE for 5% off today. Use that code and buy 2 bottles. You get a free shot glass. And don't put it in the dishwasher like I did because mine broke. D&D Meadery, great honey wine. Drink responsibly. Gentlemen,
Let's do it.
it is draft time in the land. Journey is 2 blocks northeast, I guess that would be. Northeast, yeah. Northeast. Look at me. 2 blocks northeast, performing right now. The land is on all goosebumps everywhere. How are we feeling? How are we doing? What are we thinking in terms of the draft before we go into this topic?
I mean, I'm excited. It's a little sad to me because the last couple years, not counting last year, the Browns have been a playoff team. And we shifted our mindset in that the best time to be a Browns fan was during actual football. Because prior to that, during our lifetimes, maybe not all of John's because he's older, it was the draft. That was the only thing that Browns fans had and we got most excited for. And we're kind of back to that, and that makes me sad in a way. But man, is it fun. I'm so excited to hear your guys' takes, see who we take. We're looking at a live shot right now outside of Lambeau, and it is packed.
Absolutely.
No pun
packed.
intended, righty? Hey, yo, I'm feeling good too. I think as Browns fans, we've been preconditioned since 1999 for this to be our Super Bowl. To Eric's point, I am a little older. It was a lot more fun to wonder if Bernie Kosar was going to make the Super Bowl than it is to wonder who we're going to take at number 2 in the draft. But in the last 25 years, that's what we have. It's become an unofficial holiday in Cleveland. I'm looking forward to see who we pick. I'm looking forward to seeing where a lot of the top players go. What's Cam Ward's reaction? What are we going to get out of some of the other players the Browns don't take? It's definitely a big day if you're a football fan, and I'm excited to cover it with you guys.
By the way, real quick, do you guys get as excited as I do for the post every single year that tracks Sonny's drive in the movie Draft Day?
Oh, I love it.
Because he
It's
lives
the
in
best.
Rocky River, but
They
then
go to the
he's-
gas station down here for some reason.
Yes.
Like, it makes no sense. Listen, the draft is 15 minutes away from starting, so I want to get into our last scheduled topic, shall I say.
Yeah.
And of course, that is around the water cooler. And speaking of around the water cooler, the topic today is what move by the Browns would completely infuriate you during the 2025 NFL draft. And you can't just say broadly a trade because a trade already did happen. We traded 2 6th-round picks this year and
That
a
don't
7th
matter.
round pick this year for a 5th rounder and a 5th rounder. Real quick.
That won't matter.
It might matter because that's a prime place to take a running back, but we'll talk about that as the show gets going in terms of the draft. What move would infuriate you if the Cleveland Browns did it?
Listen, I'll be very clear. I'll look right into the camera and talk to all of the smarties over at the Browns right now, the Harvard grads. Do not trade out of the number 2 pick, please. That is the move that will infuriate me. If we trade back, I know you said not a broad trade, but if we trade back, unless we're getting, I don't know. I know you guys aren't hot on him, but maybe we trade back and we get Dak Prescott out of that trade somehow. I think I'm okay with that.
Correct.
Anything short of that, I'm pissed off.
I don't want Dak whatsoever.
That's why I said that. I knew you didn't.
I don't want Dak whatsoever. Keep him far away from the orange and brown, including his massive contract.
Wait. You don't think that Dak Prescott would be the best quarterback on our roster currently?
No, I didn't say that. You're putting words in my mouth.
So
now.
why don't
I
you
just
want
don't
him?
you want him?
not for the second overall pick.
So you
That
know
you want to take
you know what Dak is. We
I
have
don't
no
want to take a
idea.
defensive end. Get off of my take from 3 months ago. I don't want to take a defensive.
It was
end.
only 90 days.
I was
John.
going
Right.
to say it was probably 3 weeks ago, but fair
That's
enough.
not true. I've
So-
been on the Shador and Travis Hunter train.
Okay,
for a
if
very
you want
long time.
Shador,
Yeah,
we know exactly what Dak is and can be.
yeah,
We have no idea what Shador is.
yeah.
And you're saying you prefer to take that risk than have
What has
known
Dak done?
Nothing.
Okay, I don't want him.
he's
What
been
has
a
Shador
playoff
done?
team. He's
Okay,
led them to the
We've
playoffs.
been to the playoffs. I'm not going for playoffs. I want more than playoffs.
What, like John said, what have Shador done?
Okay, but that's the gamble you take in the draft. I'd rather take the gamble than Dak Prescott.
That's a
A
wild take.
Listen, let's
Wild.
get back on topic. Move that would infuriate me. Move that would piss me off. Trading back from number 2, unless it is a Godfather deal, like the craziest trade we have seen in NFL draft history, where we're getting Dak in 3 firsts. If it's Dak in 3 firsts, I'm okay
Like you
with it.
come to me on the day of my daughter's wedding kind of deal.
Dak
Yeah.
and 3 firsts.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that. I'd be
First.
fine. And
So
they
you
take
about-
Watson and all
Wild.
his baggage out of Cleveland too. He can
Can
go
we-
rehab in Texas.
I don't want to
again.
rehash this, so I just want the 30-second version. Were you not on the hype train of getting Deshaun with all the firsts we sent?
Me
Yeah.
personally, yeah. The whole city was
And
No,
you
that
won't
wasn't
give
the
up
whole
a
city.
second-round pick for Dak Prescott?
a second overall for Dak.
Second overall. We gave up
Two-
first overalls.
Two
You
for
get 3 first overalls. I think.
No,
Well,
no,
not first. I see what you're
overall.
saying.
Yeah.
No, no,
First
no.
round picks. Yeah.
If you're telling me you would give up the second overall pick for Dak Prescott, straight up, that's the trade you're putting in front of me right now?
Sure.
No,
I'd entertain it.
I would not entertain
I'd
it. You
have to
guys are
think.
insane.
I don't love
But you
Dak
were all
Prescott,
over
but
Deshaun.
Because there was a reason. Deshaun played like a top 5 quarterback.
He didn't
Wait,
play
wait.
an entire year before that.
We have a text coming in
Wild.
right
And
now.
Dak
saying-
Prescott has definitely played in his career at times like a top 5 quarterback in the NFL.
That's crazy.
No, it isn't.
Text that we just got a text in.
Mhm.
I know you like to talk over people, so relax a little bit.
First comment in 30 seconds. But go ahead.
Dak would be the best QB Cleveland has ever seen.
By the way, when you text the show, and that number is 216-260-3433. When you text the show, do us a favor, put your name as part of that original text so we know who you are. He's not that wrong. I don't know about ever seen, but
I was gonna say I'd take Bernie.
ever
over him.
seen since
Bernie in the
99
prime?
maybe.
Yeah, ever seen since '99, sure. But you have the ability to add the Shohei Ohtani potentially of the NFL to your team and take a rookie and still go.
You keep saying those words, the Shohei Ohtani. You said
It's
that in the
what-
office today. I don't care who's saying it. That is the most asinine way to put Shador Sanders.
I'm
And
not
that's why I
talking
hate
about
the-
Shador Sanders. I'm talking about Travis Hunter.
That's even worse.
It is even
How?
because he doesn't take the snap every play like a quarterback does. He's less important to the success
Okay, you
of the
guys,
franchise. So, hold on, Mister. You like to talk over people.
you guys aren't
Can
even
I
Touche.
just
talking.
point
You guys-
out for a second?
You guys aren't even
Touche.
talking on
I
topic.
just wish Noah would admit that he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's basing it off of opinion. You say it like, "Oh my gosh, Dak Prescott's so bad and Shador is so good," or whoever you
I
want.
haven't
Travis
said
Hunter.
Shador is good.
You don't know, to Eric's point, you have no idea, none whatsoever, what anybody who's drafted tonight's going to do. You have a very good understanding of
That I'm
what
going
Dak
to get a
Prescott-
mid-injured
I like to
30-year-old
talk over
quarterback.
people.
Gentlemen, ladies, everybody watching, it is going to be a night, and I am here for it.
I am here for it as well. Listen, I am going to take us to commercial break so me and John can hug and make up real quick. When we come back from commercial break, we are going live straight up throughout the entire draft from picks 1 to picks potentially 32, depending on what the Cleveland Browns do. We are going to be riding this thing out, sitting here, talking, conversing about everything that we got going on.
Wait, you didn't introduce somebody. I know he's not going to be on camera, but we have a statistician in the house as well.
Yeah, we have producer Deshaun.
We
Let's
have
go.
Deshaun, who, if I
Cleveland's
say, hey,
finest.
Deshaun, tell me what Shador did his last yards per game, he can probably off the top of his head. That's Deshaun for you. So
Producer
that's
Deshaun
exciting.
is, in fact, in the building, fact-checking us all night long.
We got to make him like the bear on College Game Day. Like, he might be off camera, but he's here in spirit, and we couldn't do it without it.
Start working on the trivia for us for later.
Give me Dak. Real quick, we got one more text in before I take us to break. Give me Dak with the second round pick. And sorry, off top. I don't know what that says. Do you know what that says, E?
Doug Nick Hazy's up for G's tomorrow. That's Sean. Sean texting in.
Okay. I don't know what the second part of that is, but I mean, Dak for a second round pick, I don't really care. Not for number 2, though.
Yeah. I mean, I'd take him for a second also. If they wanted to get rid of him.
It's the pitcher coming up for the Guardians, by the way.
Up for the G. Oh,
Sean is a huge baseball fan. I know Sean.
Okay.
I went to college with him. Big baseball guy.
Okay, I get you. Yeah, so he's coming up to start pitching tomorrow then. Interesting. So. What was his ERA in the minors? I'm assuming AAA, right?
Statistician? What was his
ERA? That's a hard first pull.
Yeah. Let's see. He had a ERA so far this year of 3.44.
Let's see what happens tomorrow. I'm excited for it then.
Got the Red Sox.
Listen, let's wrap this all back in. We're going to cut to commercial. When we come back, it is draft reaction time. The boys will be sitting here talking all things NFL draft. You're listening to At the Office, a Cleveland sports show. We'll be back after these commercial messages. And we are back at the office talking all things Cleveland sports, all things NFL draft. Do us a favor, hit the subscribe button. Follow us on X, Instagram, TikTok, you name it, we're on it. It helps us grow the brand of At the Office a ton. Feel free, call or text the show, 216-260-3433. That's 216-260-3433. We are hanging out. We are talking NFL draft all night. I am so excited.
5 minutes. 5 minutes to go.
Childhood dream come true, boys. I'm not even going to lie. I know we're just sitting in my apartment right now, but being able to do a live show, talking the NFL draft, doing my best Ian Rappaport impression, hosting a show makes me absolutely ecstatic. And I'm just happy to be here and happy to talk Browns football with 2 of my best friends. 3, if you consider producer Deshaun.
You couldn't have put it better. I couldn't have put it better, I should say, because you put it perfectly. I did set bets during the commercial break. It was a quick break, but I asked these guys, what's the over under that they'll interrupt one another, and then both claim that you interrupt me. I think we settled on 25.
I'm not worried about interruptions as much. I just don't like words being put into my... Okay, I will stop being spicy for the time being. Gentlemen, Mary Kay Cabot has come out and said that the Browns are heavy on the phones, and to stay tuned. What is your reaction with that, especially considering our segment before this being...
Yeah.
It's a nothing burger.
Can I jump in? Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think I got to answer what would drive you crazy about the Browns. I think we spiraled too far too fast.
I think you're right, actually.
You're totally right, so go ahead.
So this would be it. What would drive me the most crazy about the Browns this draft is the inability to be a man and do your job. If trading out of 2 is the best thing to do, get us a great player, stand by it, and make it obvious as to why. If you have 2 and you want to take a player, take the player. You guys are in the room for a reason. You guys have the job for a reason. You're supposed to be smarter than everybody else. I don't particularly give a shit what you do, but don't screw it up. You have the number 2 pick for a reason. It's because you sucked last year, and you were the second worst team. So get somebody that's worth it, whether that's trading back and still getting a couple good players or taking somebody at 2. Stand up, hold yourselves and each other accountable, and do something that's going to set our franchise on a better trajectory, because quite frankly, last season was bullshit.
Guys, I'm getting a report here. Andrew Berry has disappeared into the bushes like Homer Simpson. Scathing take directed right at him.
It's only
but
been
you're
38
dead ass right.
years of my life watching this team do dumb thing after dumb thing. Don't trade back to 28 and then trade back into the
God,
second round.
That's the most.
It's just, I don't mind a trade. Oh, we moved from 2 to 5, picked up a second rounder. We can still get Shador. Like, whatever. Do your job. Fine. We'll trust you to be smarter than us, but like, don't screw it up.
Did you guys hear, by the way, I thought it was interesting and kind of neat that so Travis Hunter's father is incarcerated. I think he has like a 2-year sentence, something like that. And they allowed him to be there live to see his son get drafted, which is pretty cool. So he like petitioned the courts and they allowed that to happen, which I thought was pretty cool.
That's interesting. Do you know what his case was for?
I don't.
Okay. I was curious. Statistician, what is Travis Hunter's father in jail for? Do you know?
Illegal weapons or hard drugs. So he's either hanging out with what's his name from the Grizzlies or
John Morant.
Yeah, thank you.
He didn't do anything different than Elon Musk. Free him. I'm just kidding.
Anyway, I am so excited for this draft because I feel like we are going to see madness, absolute madness. And maybe I'm wrong, but you don't give the fans a Journey concert watch party in your stadium without something crazy, something big cooking in your brain. Yes, I think Travis Hunter has the potential to be a unicorn at Shohei Ohtani, if you will.
It's so crazy. So crazy.
But
Shohei has been doing that for a long time before he was a Dodger.
So,
Travis Hunter has not. I mean, he burst onto the scene. A lot of people argue that he shouldn't even have won the Heisman. We'll set that aside, but come on.
Those people are wrong as well, and we'll see if they're wrong in the NFL. To me, this draft is going to be very important for the trajectory of the Cleveland Browns because you're going to really be able to see what this team is going to do and what direction this team is going to head in. I'm curious, do you guys think that the team is going to trade up back into the first round? Say they do pick at 2. Do you think we're going to see them move back in at the back end of this draft? Final predictions on that because we've talked about it ad nauseum so far.
I do. I think they take Travis Hunter first. I think they move back up to take Shador if Shador slides, but if Shador goes before they can move back up, they have so many other areas of need like running back. I could see us trading up, and quite frankly, I love it because if you look back at the last 5 years or so of our 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round picks, there's 22 guys, and 21 of them, if I told you their names right now, you never even know. So there is value there. You're not wrong, Noah. 5th round picks matter, but not with this front office. We make our moves in the first 2 rounds. So if you want to abandon day 3 of the draft to move up and do a lot on day 1 and 2, I'd be all for it. But I do think we'll see a move out of the Browns.
And real quick on that point too, yes, I do think we'll see a move as well. Hence why we are going for the whole first round here. But you mentioned the 5th round pick that we traded for. I think that pick is going to be very important because I think there's a lot of value at the running back position at that 5th round level. And we did not have a 5th round pick. So getting rid of 2-6, getting rid of a 7th, getting rid of some of our fluff picks, 3 picks. So we came in with 10 picks. Now we have 7 picks in this draft to get potentially either a guy that they think will be a first string running back or another guy to pair with someone they take earlier in the draft, whether it be Judkins or Scattaboo or something like that. It'll be really interesting to see that 5th round pick and what it's spent
Can
on.
I ask a quick devil's advocate question?
Yeah.
Just that one point, because I want to hear what you have to say, E. Sorry for jumping in, but just very simply, don't you think if it was that big of a deal that the player would be drafted earlier than the 5th round? I'm not saying there aren't 5th round, 6th round, 7th rounders that haven't gone on to do great things, but the players who come out who go, he's going to make a difference, don't typically still sit on the board till the 5th round.
Well, I agree with you in a sense, but this running back class is so deep when it comes to running back, the position as a whole, that you're going to get good value. I'm not saying that this guy is going to be an every down back
Or Nick Chubb.
I mean, we've seen crazier happen out of the 5th round. Think of how many running backs that are in the league that have made reasonable contributions to their team, even though they were undrafted, a 6th round, a 7th round pick.
Speaking of running backs, I want to see if you guys know your running backs in this draft real quick. The top running back, who had the most yards this season at running back?
What's the kid from Boise State?
It's
Ashon
Genty.
Genty.
Number
Genty.
2 is Genty after contact.
That's my point.
I'll
Yeah.
say Genty
Number
after-
2 was Genty after contact. That's insane.
It is absolutely insane.
It's wild.
It's
Look at
interesting.
that stat, yeah.
It's interesting to me because he didn't take a top 30 visit with the Browns, which even if they do trade down, I don't think he's a target for them, which I'm fine with because there's a lot
Well,
of
he'll
other.
be gone. I mean,
Well, you're talking some of the rumored teams, the main one right now being the Jacksonville Jaguars. You're going from 2 to 5. He'll be there at 5 potentially. If it's Hunter, then it would be Carter. And then
I just saw somebody trading up for him, though, and I forget who that report was.
I'd love it if it was us.
It was not
You
us.
take somebody at 2 and then move up high enough to take Genty.
you're going to have to give up a first next year, though. And I don't
Think
want to
so?
give up. I know so. Not top 10, 100%.
The Bears are apparently trying to move up to get him.
It'll be interesting. I keep refreshing my Twitter feed to see if there's a, I almost said a Woj bomb. That's not a thing anymore. An Ian Rappaport tweet. Roger Goodell is coming out on the stage right now on a bike.
A bicycle.
Boo!
Give it back.
He is getting
Give
the boo birds. I know it's like tradition at this point, but it's got to get to him a little, right?
No, not for $45 million a year.
While
Just
we're
the-
that's a fair point. While
You
we're
blew the shit out of me for $2 million. Eric, have at it.
You
that's
could boo me for 100K.
that's all fair points. Listen, I do want to get off on a tangent real quick
Go
as we're
for it.
starting. How life could be different.
Lil Wayne. Sorry.
George W. Bush wanted to be MLB commissioner. Are you guys aware of this?
Yes.
Reached out to Bud Selig to get his advice on how to navigate it. Bud, of course, goes behind his back, becomes MLB commissioner, and thus we have W as president and a long line of things that happen after that. Insane.
Crazy.
It is insane. And
that
didn't
AJ Hawk?
Didn't they own the Rangers?
They did own the Rangers. Yeah.
Okay.
It's very interesting how quickly history could change just with a change of decision. And to speak about decision, we're on the NFL draft. We are all locked in. If the Browns pick at 2, they are taking Travis Hunter, correct?
Not
Probably.
necessarily what I want, but yeah, that's what they'll do.
Okay. Why do you not want that?
Because I think quarterback matters more than any other position. If you don't have somebody to throw a receiver a ball, taking a receiver is not as big of a deal. And until you know you have your next guy at quarterback, you're kind of just figuring it out.
But you don't find some solace in a gap with Joe Flacco or a gap with Kenny Pickett?
I'm a lot gladder at Joe Flacco than I was at Jameis Winston. But no, even if Flacco plays at an MVP level, he's like going to be 42 this season, right?
That's fair. What about you, E?
What was the question? I'm sorry.
Travis Hunter. Definitely the pick, right? If they pick at 2.
I think it'll be the pick, but the problem is we have so many needs. We need quarterback, we need offensive tackle, we need wide receiver, we need defensive tackle, we need linebacker. I mean, you got to start somewhere. I'm okay, though, going into this quarterback room next year with what we have right now. I know it's a bridge situation, potentially. And I think we could even get more out of Pickett than we give credit sometimes. He's a really athletic guy. We don't know.
There's a lot of rumors. Sorry to cut you off real quick, but there's a lot of rumors that they think he could be the next Geno Smith, Sam Darnold of the NFL. Aditi Kikawala, did I say
Calling
that?
the guy the next
Didi Kikabala.
Sam Darnold does not get me super excited. I know what he
No.
did last year, but it does not
From a
get me
guy
super
who
excited.
just railed against Dak Prescott,
Right.
saying you could
Right.
be the next. Yeah,
But you get what
Noah's more about the hype than the reality.
that's not true.
It
That's
is
not
true.
I think that is true. That's why you like the draft more than winning.
That I don't like the draft more than winning. That's crazy.
Wow.
No, but it's. Do you think that there's any validity in that claim? I think of the fact that he has such small hands. I mean, the fumble play with the Eagles.
I think he had a bad O-line with Pittsburgh. I think that I'm saying he's athletic. Is he going to go and put up 600 yards a game? No. But we don't know until we put the pieces around people and put him in obvious situations to win. In Pittsburgh, he wasn't in an obvious situation to win. That doesn't mean he can't be a decent quarterback. Listen, I want to be a team where at the end of the day, we need a guy that doesn't turn the ball over and defense helps us to win. We don't want a guy that has to go throw for 400 yards to win because we're not going to be a well-balanced team and we're not going to win many games anyway.
I want to play a game with you guys, and I play with my dad. We talk sports half the time when I drive to work in the morning when I talk to him every day. And he always goes on these tangents, and he's right, by the way, about running back coach and quarterback coach and offensive coordinator and backup quarterbacks and running backs. And I'm like, okay, Dad, all of this matters. But if you get the best defensive end in this draft and you have the best offensive line coach and left tackle that you could ever consider coming out of college, how many more games do the Browns win next season than they won this season with all of that? And his answer is always something like 2 or 3. And then I go, if Shador plays like Jaden Daniels, how many more games do we win? And he's like 8. And I'm like, that's why quarterback matters more.
That is absolutely why. And we've talked about it ad nauseum on this show. We have the best edge rusher in football. How many games have we won because of him?
I agree. But you're also, real quick, I want to announce the Titans are officially on the clock. So we are now in the draft. Cam Ward, assumed pick number 1 overall. Back to the topic, though. Yes, I agree with everything you said. That's why I was so hard and still am on the Shador Sanders train. That being said, Travis Hunter, to me, is a generational talent that's hard to pass up on, especially if you feel confident in the quarterback room you have now and the ability to get one of Shador Sanders, Jackson Dart, Jalen Milroe. We talked about Milroe last week on the show. If you haven't checked that video out, go check it out. There are a lot of different options here that could make sense.
Which is a good point to say that, sorry to cut you off, but Adam Schefter said when talking about the top 10 picks and how it will unfold, expect explosives.
Yeah.
And that was from a source, not just from him.
And there's a piece of what you said, too, that I think you didn't intentionally bury it, but they got buried. You said all these things, blah, 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 generational talent. He could be this, he could be that. If you're confident in your quarterback room, and then you moved on.
Mm-hmm.
If you are confident in your quarterback room with a 42-year-old and Kenny Pickett is a huge gargantuan if. Who in their right mind would look at our quarterback room and be, quote, unquote, confident in it? Not saying that it's serviceable for a year.
And I agree with what you're saying, but I'm saying that parlayed with the fact that you feel confident that you are going to be able to grab one of Jalen Milroe, Shador Sanders, Jackson Dart later in this draft. You're playing the gamble. Yes, I agree with you 100%. But in a year that we have been told by the media, by GMs, by scouts, blah, that this is not a strong quarterback class, if you have one of these guys that you think's the guy, this is the year to gamble, unfortunately.
And I agree, but if that guy is Shador Sanders, also ignore everybody and get Shador.
Laura on Facebook said, we need everything. And speaking of everything, how do I get one of those stickers? Laura, I got you. I'll give you a sticker. But she also said, you guys are much more interesting than the sports talk radio I listen to. And that is quite a compliment. So thank you, Laura.
Yeah,
you know what?
We appreciate that.
You know what's funny to that? Instead of plugging our merch store at theofficecle.com, you decided, I'll just give it to you. Yes, you could have gave Laura.
You don't need to buy a sticker. I got you.
I know you know who Laura is, and you could give her the sticker.
That's also why we bought and split stickers, so we can give them out to fans.
That's
Gave
fair.
one out today.
That's fair. Did you really?
Hell yeah.
I was going to give my.
No, it's like, why didn't you charge them?
We got 115 watching.
Yeah, we're
16 of those people are people I gave stickers to in the last month.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, look at you.
I'd like to pull the analytics. Hey, I got a question for you. I'm sitting here staring at the clock.
Yeah.
Since the last day of the regular season of the NFL schedule, the Titans have known they had the number 1 pick.
Yeah,
What
why
the
are
hell
we waiting
takes
10 minutes? I
15
agree.
minutes
Well,
once you go on the
gentlemen,
clock?
let me tell you, because the 3 of us work in sales, 2 of us work in ad sales, and that answer is the hard-earned dollar. They want to make the money. They got to stretch it out 110%. The Titans know they're taking Cam Ward. The 3 of us know they're taking Cam Ward right now. But
I miss the days where the number 1 overall pick was already signed and under contract with the team with the first pick before the draft ever happened. They'd walk up with the envelope. They'd say you have 15 minutes, and at 14 minutes and 48 seconds, they'd be like, okay, Titans take Cam Ward. Now the draft can start.
Do you guys think, because ESPN right now is saying best available is Abdul Carter, but obviously they're taking Cam Ward. Do you guys think Abdul is best available?
I have come around as the resident take Abdul when this whole process first started on the fact that I think Travis Hunter is the best prospect in this draft. Mel Kiper has said it. He is the highest graded player since the Joe Montana era.
Correct.
In his draft. I think the best player in this draft is Travis Hunter. But, we look back at it real quick. If we look back at it 5 years, it could be either one of them.
Interestingly enough, 2 of the needs of the Titans are both safety and wide receiver. I'm just saying.
It would be interesting.
Not
to-
over
surprise
quarterback.
Could you imagine?
Not over quarterback.
That's
but
a
fair
good
point.
question real quick. we'll play hypothetical real quick and we'll keep it brief. If they were to take Travis Hunter right now, are you running to the stage for Cam Ward?
I think so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, good.
Absolutely.
Wait,
And-
you are?
and to
You
your
know,
point,
yeah,
you said
100%.
Shador over Cam not that long ago.
Well,
that was 3 months ago.
that's not true. I am still on the Shador train. And Cam Ward gives me a lot of concern. And my concern there is that he reminds me a little bit of Jameis Winston in terms of the passing ability and the turnover ability.
Went to school in Florida. I'm with you.
I think that's funny. I didn't even make that
Two
own
different
connection.
schools, but yeah.
Yeah, but they are both Florida schools. I think Shador is the best fit at quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. I've said that multiple times here on the page.
And to answer the question you guys were asking earlier, I agree with you 100%. No, Travis Hunter is the best player available. If you're going best player available, he's my number one with a bullet. He plays 2 positions. So you can get. Now, I wanted to ask you guys about how much time you think he'll actually play on either side of the ball as the night progresses, but he's definitely the best talent in my view.
I think he'll play a decent amount because he's not going to be your wide receiver option number 1.
He could be for the Browns.
Sure could.
I think he
better
will
than Jerry
be for the
Jeudy.
Browns. In fact, I think you do like an 80-20 snap split. Obvious passing and third down for defense and majority of the reps on offense.
It gets me excited thinking about it, I will say.
Are we buying 12 jerseys tomorrow at the shop?
The pick is in, by the way, gentlemen. Titans pick is in.
They got to cut
Gotta
to
give 'em a
commercial
minute.
break.
Do you have the sound ready?
Booger McFarlane.
I
Bro.
can have the sound
Oh.
ready.
Have you ever
You
seen
can't.
Booger McFarlane's hands?
Oh, it's
This
in
is
there.
a-
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
in there. Yeah,
loaded up.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
good to go.
This is a total digression, but have you ever seen Booger McFarlane's hands? How gnarly they are because he played on the line so much in the NFL.
I guess I didn't look that closely.
He
no.
goes to hold his hand straight. He looks like he's throwing gang signs, and his hands are going.
No
like dead.
kidding.
Oh yeah, you'll see it.
Eric, you're gonna have to play it because it'll mess up the screen if I do it.
Okay.
See if you can see it over there.
Let's
But-
see.
Gentlemen, the NFL draft is here. I feel like we've been talking,
Ready?
thinking.
Or
You're gonna-
we'll wait till Goodell
I was
comes
gonna
up.
say we don't even like.
Oh,
Do it now. Or close
we
to
got to
it.
hear it.
The Browns and Jaguars have agreed to a blockbuster trade. Jacksonville, the 2nd overall pick. Cleveland gets 5 and a massive haul to help them now and in the future.
What's the haul?
The haul is not listed. Ian Rappaport reports it first.
Look at this shit.
The Browns are now at pick number 5.
Wow.
Travis Hunter is not going to be a Cleveland Brown, gentlemen.
No, he is not.
That is
Cam
wild.
Cam
Ward
Ward, number 1
No
overall.
surprise there, right? Cam
No
Ward off the
surprise.
Okay,
board.
we could get off.
Yeah,
of
let's
Cam Ward.
go back to
We
the Browns.
need to
'cause
get
this
to
is-
this
Yeah.
moment
Good luck
right
in
now.
Tennessee, Cam.
Yeah.
Next.
The
Best of
Brown-
luck.
My watch is going absolutely insane right now. The Browns have traded the 2nd overall pick to the Jaguars. Gentlemen, what the hell is going on?
5 is not far enough back for me to panic. You still got a really good player. They didn't trade back to 22. I want to see who they take, and we got to figure out what this haul is. Because if it's a bunch of future picks, I feel worse about it. If it's the 3 best players on their roster, I feel great about it. We got to see where in the middle it falls.
Could you imagine if we got Trevor Lawrence?
No.
Oh, I mean,
Would you rather have Trevor Lawrence than Dak?
Yeah,
Trevor Lawrence over Shador?
probably. It's a
Is it-
little more sure. I
You want
think
Trevor Lawrence over Dak Prescott?
100%.
Okay. I would disagree, but not vehemently.
Okay, that's
Interesting.
interesting. I am okay. The Browns receive 5, 36, 126, and a first next year
Wow.
For 3 spots?
for
That is a haul.
the 2nd, 104 and 200.
That's
I
pretty
know we
good.
all said that we'd be pissed off if the Cleveland Browns traded this pick.
To 22. To
yeah,
5,
but
I'm okay.
there's a difference to trading down and trading. I mean, that's an amazing
Who
haul.
wants to bet they're taking Shador and he'll still be there?
That's what I was thinking.
If
I
they
think
take
so, too.
Shador at 5, I'm going to throw the T-shirt on, gentlemen.
I'm surprised
It's
you didn't
wrist-
have it all.
It's wrists up. It is time to go.
Is that worth losing out on the unicorn? I think the picks are worth it. Don't get me wrong, especially getting on number 1 next year. But is it, or I should say their one, first round, is it worth giving up the so-called unicorn that is Travis Hunter?
Yes.
We have a text from Randy Northrup out in Willoughby. He says, I got to pardon my French a little bit here for a second. He says, are you effing kidding? You trade your highest pick. Effing idiots.
Wow. Strong words. I think we all said before this started,
God.
the thing that would make us most upset is trading back. And yet we're all excited about this trade back.
The fact that we got a first-round pick out of it and we only moved down 2 spots.
And I did caveat it. I said if moving back to 5 or 8 is your best or something like that,
Right.
do it. I said just don't move back to 28. Moving from 2 to 5.
Matt, the other co-host here at the office, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I know a lot. We're up to like 5. I'm counting.
Okay, well, whatever. Matt said that's exactly what I wanted. LFG, you know what that stands for. Listen, we have 2 picks in the second round now. So not only do we have a chance to go grab one of these quarterbacks or move up to grab a quarterback,
Travion Anderson.
we have the ability, if we just take a quarterback, to take a running back, to take a tackle. Okay, I'm over it. I'm in. I'm all the way in. I love the trade. Travis Hunter, it was a good idea, and I loved the idea. Have fun in Jacksonville. You guys are going to be mid for the next 20 years.
I said I'd rather have Shador the entire time we talked about it. This positions us, in my mind, to still get him. Let's see what happens in the next hour as the next couple of picks roll in. But in a way, this strengthens it. Like you said, if we still get Shador, who we all kind of said, yes, is on our list, even if it was number 1 or number 2, and then get a number 1 next year from a team that should stink, I feel pretty good about it right now.
I'm really curious what Jacksonville's going to look like. If they think this really is their saving grace for Trevor Lawrence to get a prospect like Travis Hunter to be thrown the ball to by him, it's really interesting. I wonder what the stadium sounds like right now. I know we can't open the window because it would mess with the audio. Wow. I'm still in shock.
By the way, there are still rumors that Cleveland's working on a deal to get Kirk Cousins. And I know you're not hot on that, but that's still out there
was
as a
some
possibility.
Of that floating around. Again, for those who are listening at home, the Cleveland Browns trade pick number 2, pick a 4th-round pick this year and a 6th-round pick this year for the 5th overall pick, the 2nd overall pick, not the 2nd overall pick, a 2nd-round pick, a 4th-round pick, and a 1st next year.
The 1st next year is the one that blows my mind a little bit.
Where were the Jags when they moved up?
5.
5.
We're going to
so
5.
We swapped with them.
Correct.
We swapped
that's
with
what I
them,
wanted to
picked
see
up
this.
a 1st, picked up a 2nd, picked up a 4th, and gave them a bunch of bullshit.
But to get the 1st next year, they're that hot on Travis Hunter. That is what blows my mind a little bit. I think he's a good player, and I was excited about the possibility. But to give up those amount of picks for him,
But think
I
about
don't
what
know.
we were talking about
Insane.
a couple of years ago. The Jacksonville Jaguars 2 years ago were a playoff team. And they looked
I
like
wonder-
crap last year because they looked like crap, injury, this and that and the other. If you give Trevor Lawrence somebody to throw to in Jacksonville who's supposed to be as good as Hunter is, I can see them thinking, man, we gave the Steelers all they could handle in the 2nd round of the playoffs last year and then fell to crap. They got to be thinking like the Browns. We got the talent. We got the coach. We got what we need. We need a little bit more talent. I think they're thinking if they get somebody like this, they can make a playoff run
So
again next
let
year.
me pose a different question to you guys from the Browns angle.
Yeah.
We go down to 5 and we say, okay, they're probably drafting Shador.
Okay.
What if they're not hot on Shador? What
No
if they're
idea.
thinking, we'll go into this season, we have Flacco, we know he's a bridge. Next year's a better quarterback class. Maybe we pick up a Will Howard in a later round. Maybe we don't. Maybe we draft different need. I mean, we have a lot of needs.
So my pivot on this real quick, because my next question was going to be, what if they're confident that Abdul Carter's falling to 5 to them?
That's risky business to think that Abdul Carter would fall to 5.
I think he's going number 3 to the Giants, but
The answer to both your questions is that you draft somebody else. You guarantee that no matter who's off the board, that there's only 4 people off the board, and you picked up a haul for him. You take the best player who's left. If they're not high on Shador, but Shador's there, you got an option. If they're not high on Abdul and Abdul's there, you got an option. You'll just see. That's part of what trading back means. But I think this just means the Browns weren't so locked in on somebody that they really cared.
Jacksonville's
fell
pick
to.
is in, by the way.
Yes, it
Real
is. I was
quick.
just gonna call that.
Michael Farmer from Strongsville says Browns fleeced Jacksonville. Holy shit.
They did. And
I think it's a fleece indeed.
By the
Jacksonville
way-
got desperate, man.
Michael is a Steelers fan, but it should be noted that he's an outside perspective here, so he's not a homer saying that.
No,
Lillian
fair
Olson,
enough.
shout out Grandma, said disappointed, but
The
it's
pick
the
is
Browns.
in. Goodell's at the podium. Let's see what we got.
John announced it. We don't have to all go
Goodell
quiet now.
is reading all kinds of stuff that isn't the pick before he makes the pick.
He's recognizing somebody. I already played the chime, so I maybe did that a little too quickly because I got excited.
I think we got to just kill the chime for today.
the chime.
We don't have the audio
You
for
guys
us to
can't
be.
hear it, but our fans can.
Well, that's fair. It is.
You got to.
It's like a Christmas carol. on Christmas
I'm making
Eve.
an executive decision. You get to announce the picks from now on because you know when the chime goes. So you are announcing the picks for the rest of the show.
I still get
So
to do
should I
this
hit
one
it
though,
again
right?
when he's
Yes.
the pick?
Screw
Okay.
it. Why not?
Okay.
Can I do this one though? He can do all the rest.
Yeah, just watch.
Yeah.
Just make sure you guys are timed up.
It's fine.
I'll hit play. Watch my screen.
Okay.
We're still waiting.
Good Lord.
When they bring up a player, that's
Laura
a
said
former
she loves
player.
the chime, by the way, so we're keeping the chime for sure.
Yep. Thanks, Laura.
I think it's going to be Mason Graham, by the way, gentlemen. I think
What?
yeah. I think because he took a top 30 visit and he is a top 30 or he's arguably one of the best
You
prospects.
trade
in
up
this
to
draft.
2 to take Mason Graham.
Ryan Bento from Ashtabula says, I'm a fan of this move. Weak draft at the top and we got a lot.
That's fair.
That's fair. That's
It's
fair.
not a bad assessment at all. Was a weak, allegedly a weak draft at the top. There's 3 Hall of Famers in the first 10 of this draft. We just don't know who they are yet. Come on, bro.
Are we going to hear breaking? The Jaguars are now the London Jaguars.
Right.
Because they do want to move over there pretty badly.
Jag select.
Oh.
Second pick, 2025 draft. Jacksonville Jaguars select. Travis Hunter. All right,
Wow.
there he goes.
That's
So-
crazy.
So they traded,
Looking like Lil Nas X in that suit.
swapped the 5th round pick, gave us a first next year.
That's how high they are on Travis
That's
Hunter.
insane to me.
Is it?
Yes.
He
I
is
think
rare. I mean, this dude can ball. We
he
know he's
can
going to
ball.
be good.
What did he do to make Colorado better?
Well, I mean, if you want
everything.
to, I will play devil's advocate for a second because I'm high on Hunter. I'm high on Shador.
Without
Every-
Hunter, where are they? That's what I was
Nowhere.
gonna- yeah.
Nowhere. But Shador, Hunter, Dion, wherever they went in college, whether it be Jackson State, right?
Jackson.
Jackson State or Colorado, they went from nothing programs to something programs. No, they didn't win a championship. No, they didn't win everything and then some. But
No, you're missing my point.
okay,
We just said that one player doesn't win you any more games that isn't quarterback. We
Oh,
said that about
If you
Myles
don't have a
Garrett.
quarterback, but if you think Trevor Lawrence is the quarterback, this makes perfect sense.
I know, but we said that but to give a first round next year, I don't know. It's a lot of picks for me.
this is
If the
absolutely.
Browns have given that up to get him, would you be happy?
No, because we don't have a quarterback. If we
I
had,
guess we'll find out if Jacksonville does.
if we
'cause
still had Baker or we had Trevor Lawrence or we had Dak Prescott and they gave up this to get Travis Hunter and I thought he was that good, I'd be like, okay, it's a lot. It better work out, but I wouldn't be mad at it.
I don't think he's that
we have an
good.
incoming call, Eric, if you want to try to grab it.
Ooh.
Okay. We do have an incoming call. Let me try to figure this out.
You got to answer it in time first.
All right, give me 1 second, caller.
John, while he gets set up,
Yeah.
man, I'm still. The fact that we got 2 firsts out of it,
Call back, and we'll try it again.
yes, that's totally fine. I have my headphones as well if we need to take it on my end and I can just relay the message, but I'd rather you do it so the audience at home can hear what we got going on. But if you called in, feel free to call yet again and we will gladly take your call. Here it comes.
Here we
Eric.
go. We're getting the call.
So, Giants, you think it's Abdul Carter here?
All right, can
Yeah,
you hear
I
me?
do. Now that we see who's come off the board, but they talked a lot about quarterback.
Yeah.
I still think Shador could be the guy that they want to take. They spent a lot of time on him, and he's still
Can
on
you
the
hear me?
board. The Giants have talked a lot about needing a quarterback. Everything that I see said out of all the NFL teams he's visited with, people doing the most
Are you there?
research, the most outreach, the most calls have been the New York Giants. So I think you're right, but a Shador pick right here at 3 would not surprise me. And they only have 2 minutes and 30 seconds left, so we'll see what we get.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think it's Abdul Carter as well. I think Abdul Carter is the pick for multiple reasons. All of them just don't think they're going to go quarterback this early because of Russell Wilson, because of Jameis Winston being added to the roster. Go ahead, E.
If you want to take calls, feel free, or we can just scrap it and say text the show. Calls don't really work for a live
Can
show.
you accept the call on your cell phone? Put it on speaker?
I cannot.
Okay.
I will gladly accept calls. You will not be able to be heard on the live stream. That'll be something we have to work on, unfortunately. But I will gladly reiterate your message, say who's speaking. So if you want to call in, I will gladly answer via my laptop. I'm going to put my headphone in right now so I can do so.
There you go.
Oh, you're getting that call. Giants pick is in, by the way, with the 3rd overall pick. The Giants pick is in. What do you guys think they're going to go with here?
We were just saying it. I think I'm going to say Shador. I switched in the last few minutes, but either him or Abdul Carter, I think for sure. They spent a lot of time on Shador, and especially in the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Hey, can you hear me?
What about Jalen Walker?
Yeah.
At linebacker? Because they need linebacker.
Same question I have about that. If you need a quarterback, what does the linebacker get you? Even if he's
But they're not drafting a quarterback either way, it doesn't sound like.
Oh, I thought that Shador is definitely. I think they spent more time on Shador than any franchise.
Do you think New York's going to pick Shador right here? I don't think they are.
I think it's Abdul Carter for sure.
Abdul Carter.
Real quick for our viewers at home, we can't get the
phone
to work, unfortunately. So please just text or comment on the show, and we will gladly field everything that you have to say and sit here and acknowledge all of it. Speaking of acknowledge all of it, what's the comp for Cleveland trading back? The comp is, let me pull it back up for you one more time. The Browns trade 2nd overall, 104, and a 200th overall 6th-round pick. The Browns receive 5th overall, 36th overall, 126, and a 1st-round pick next year.
Yeah.
So they get very top-heavy in this draft this year.
So tell me if this is correct, because I'm just trying to break it down in a simpler way. We swapped 2 and 5 and netted an extra 2nd, an extra 4th, and a 1st-round pick for next year.
Yes.
There we go. All right. You're exactly right the way you broke it down, but I know sometimes people are like, well, what did we get? And you're like, 2 4ths and 2 2nd. We didn't get 2
picks up. Eric, you ready?
Got it. The New York Giants select Abdul Carter with the 3rd overall pick. Abdul Carter, he's the best on the board at that point, but I'm not sure what it does for them.
Ryan Bento says, I don't see a bad outcome for that decision. Do you guys? And I think it's good on paper, but I'm also a Cleveland Browns fan, and I've seen a lot of bad decisions.
Did you guys just say the Adidas chain on his dad's neck? That was kind of cool.
I wonder who paid for all of his stuff today, right?
Not Nike.
He must be an Adidas athlete, but that was cool. That was a lot of ice.
Let's answer Ryan Bento's question, though. Do you see a bad outcome for this trade as we inch closer to the Browns finally making a selection in this draft?
No. I love it.
Do you mean for the Browns or do you mean for the Giants with Abdul Carter?
No, we're talking the Browns move with the Jaguars.
I do. I mean, I want to see who New England takes it for. But no, I don't think so. We couldn't have got Cam Ward and everybody else. It's like even if they're all pro Hall of Fame quality, it's not at a position of need for us as big as some of the others. Right now, no. Now, if the next pick is Shador Sanders and Shador Sanders ends up being a Hall of Famer, then I see a bad outcome. But right now, I feel pretty good about it.
Guys, it is interesting because New England is now on the clock, and they do not need a quarterback.
No,
they
don't.
Not taking a quarterback.
Is Shador the pick for the Browns?
I think.
Is it risk up? I'm going to go with Mason Graham. I think Mason Graham's the pick out of all the other top prospects, or maybe Will Campbell. Will Campbell has visited the Browns as well, the top tackle prospect. We do need a lot of help on offense.
He's also a prospect for New England right now.
That's fair. That is totally fair. I just see them wanting to play the sneaky game on the back end and try to sneak back in there, and that's why they made this trade, because they like.
What if we trade back
again
to 8 to Carolina, get another 1st-round pick, get in there before the Saints because they need a quarterback now, and still get Shador, but at number 8 this time? Would he last till 8?
to 8.
Yeah.
I
It's
think
hard to
that
say.
the
He
next
might
top-
last till 22 if they don't take him.
So the next couple picks after
Browns
the
don't take
Browns
him
right
at
now
5. Yeah.
are the Raiders, the Jets, and the Panthers, none of which are probably taking
quarterback, correct.
no are taking a quarterback, right?
They all
Brian
have them.
Bento makes a good point in the chat. We had a high focus on wide receiver. Tet McMillan from Arizona, anybody? Did he take a top
I think
30
that's
visit?
who's going to New England, honestly.
Okay, let me look up the Browns' top 30 visits. Take a second.
You
while
said Mason Graham too. The only reason I don't like him is I think of it like a fantasy draft. If you have the 4th overall pick and the first 2 guys take running backs, the next guy takes a quarterback, you could take the best wide receiver or you could take the 3rd best running back. And for us to have his pick as high as this one and take the 2nd best defensive lineman in the draft, I think could be a little bit foolish. I don't think Mason Graham won't be good, but if you don't get Abdul Carter, what the hell would you take a 2nd best player in the draft at his position at number 5 overall?
So I'm looking at the top 30 visits that the Cleveland Browns have taken with prospects for this. And when you're talking about top prospects, you're talking about Will Campbell, Shador Sanders. I know Mason Graham's on here. There are multiple top names that are still floating around here that I think they're going to go with. I'm still leaning Mason Graham at pick number 5 right now.
I hope not.
Why do you
But-
hope not?
Because we already have good defensive linemen, it doesn't get you anything.
I just
It's
don't.
the
I don't
same
see them
argument I've
doing
made
it.
30
Yeah.
times.
If they wanted, I don't know. If they wanted to bolster their defense, especially online, I think they would have stayed at 2 and took in Abdul. I don't think you trade back and then take a lesser guy.
Correct.
I know it's a different position, but
And don't get me wrong, they got a haul, but next year's draft is next year away. A whole season of sucking, again, when you don't have a quarterback or we'll get some picks and some stuff. I think that's a big risk because while I think the fans will sustain, I don't know that the front office can win 3 games next season and still survive.
yeah, especially
So,
when jobs are on the line.
jobs
That
could be
does
on the line,
factor.
and that's part of the reason I'm thinking
To
like
play devil's
another
advocate,
the 2nd best defensive lineman in the draft at 5 is a lot to go. We'll get a 1st round pick next year.
to play devil's advocate here, Jimmy Haslam has all but said in the media that Barry and Stefanski are going to be safe. And he
Yeah,
believes in
it's
them.
one thing to say it until you have the city calling for your heads and more bad press for Haslam, which he does not want.
Do you not think that we have all of that going on right now? Last year at this time, we were posting Andrew Barry laser eye emojis all over Instagram, Twitter, blah, 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 blah. Now I can name about 10 people on the top of my head who hate Andrew Barry. I still think he's a good GM.
You're not wrong, but I could make you a list of people that would be quite extensive whose owner said at the beginning of a season, this person's safe.
Right.
Who didn't make it to the beginning of next season.
Oh, I agree.
This franchise
Dead on.
and others.
Those are empty words.
To be completely crystal clear, I am playing devil's advocate. I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah.
You cannot trade back and take a defensive tackle and suck on offense and go 3-14 next year and expect to have your job, no matter what Jimmy Haslam's telling you.
Guys, the pick is in for New England, which means the Browns.
Are officially on the clock.
Okay.
Sorry. Go ahead.
He
No.
said what you thought he said.
Yeah, I was like, was that an accident or was it a joke?
Oh, I didn't take it that way. My bad.
No, you're good.
I didn't mean to say it that way, I should say. We are on our first commercial break of this live viewing experience here at the office. This has been fun. I just looked down. We've been going for an hour.
It's
This
a
is
good
great.
time.
I'm having a good time.
Yeah.
It's a good time to remind our viewers of our sponsor,
Go for it.
D&D Meadery.
John, stop picking up the bottle because I have to go replace it every time. Put the bottle back
Yes.
down.
This
Noah
is
doesn't want to do more work, so let's not shout out our sponsor
this is the
live on air.
best sponsor plug you've ever seen. You get arguing, you get bottle. I don't know what John's doing. He can't even see the screen, so he doesn't know if he's on camera.
Should be.
But it is award-winning mead. They brought an old tradition back to life. 2 brothers. They have a passion for it, and it's in their blood. They come from a line of alcohol makers, wine makers from the old country, and it's good stuff.
I love it. You can mix it. I was telling you guys last show, I've been drinking it straight, been drinking it on the rocks. Used it as like my honey syrup in my little bourbon cocktails.
John's a bit of a lush.
Multifaceted.
Just a bit. Just a bit.
All the more reason to get some. Take it from a man who knows.
It is
It's
very good,
delicious.
and you can get You can get 5% off if you place your order online. The code is @the-office CLE. It's the worst code in history, but it's @the-office CLE. And if you purchase 2 or more bottles, you can also get a free shot glass that Noah will tell you do not put in the dishwasher because he broke his. It's 21 or older. Please drink responsibly.
Real quick, we got another text in. It was the caller that we had earlier that we unfortunately fumbled because the software is not working the right way. Randy Northrup of Willoughby says, "You all are crazy. No matter what, you always take best player on the board at that high of a spot. It says spotting, but I got
what if the best player is a wide receiver and you have no quarterback? That argument makes zero sense.
See, my thing is, I agree with best player available in theory, but when you're getting given a pick next year, you're only moving down 3 spots, and you got the haul that we got. Your draft became much more flexible, even if you were in love with Travis Hunter. Erik.
The New England Patriots select Will Campbell. So he is one that we talked about. It's okay. I don't mind him going off our board. Yes, we could have used somebody like that, but I'm not mad about that.
It's definitely with the Will Campbell selection going to be Mason Graham here, I think, at number 5. I'm going to die on
over
that hill.
Tet McMillan?
Yeah, McMillan has had some slide issues, some character concerns out there, for lack of a better term.
What about the tackle from Mizzou?
That's too high.
Okay.
It's too high in my opinion. I
still have a gut feeling we're seeing Shador here. I don't know why, but
I was going to say it after you guys got done with that little segment of what you were saying. I feel like Shador Sanders was the pick, and the Browns realized they can move down and still get him, so let's get the haul. They've been talking about it for a few weeks, but we'll see.
And the Saints are a couple picks away. They could be drafting a quarterback this year, as, of course, we know Derek Carr went down with injury. They could be a bit of a dark horse here to take a quarterback.
So Browns Twitter, the actual X account for the Browns, has posted the pick is in. It isn't official on the screen yet.
Turned in the card, they said, so it's going to switch here in a second.
The pick is in. Your Cleveland Browns, they have not traded out of this pick. They are picking number 5 overall in that blockbuster trade with Jacksonville. We'll have that along with the chime in just a few moments.
Gentlemen, final predictions. Who do you think it is? Pick number 5.
I'm going Shador.
I'm going Shador.
I don't want to believe it, so I'm going
That's
Mason
what
Graham.
you don't want to get your. Okay, that's what it is. You don't.
Randy
want to
also followed up, and now you get your pick. I hate to say it, but it's going to be Shador Sanders.
I have a question for you guys. Out of every mock draft that you've seen in the last 2 months, I can't remember a single one that has the top 4 correct.
No.
Number 1,
not
Jags
one.
Trade up to 2, 3, 4.
Nobody's
I haven't
predicted
seen one
that.
mock. We are 4 picks in, and all the mock drafts are already shot.
I'm going to play completely crazy real quick, but I think the Browns do also really like Jalen Milroe. What if the pick's Jalen Milroe right now? What if they reached on him?
Oh, that would be stupid.
It's
Jalen
dumb.
Milroe will be there tomorrow for the first round, I think.
There's some hype going around about how many quarterbacks are going in.
That's fair.
I
wouldn't bet my mortgage.
I am sitting here on the edge of my seat.
So who's the next team that really needs a quarterback? Probably Pittsburgh with the 21st pick.
The Saints need.
I mean, Saints, yeah, but they don't need it like a franchise guy.
No, that's true.
Because Derek Carr might be out for the year.
So. No, I know, but you know that Derek Carr will be back is what I mean. So you don't need to pick for necessarily the next 5 years.
Our screen officially says the pick is in. I literally, my heart is in my balls right now, for lack of a better phrase. My heart is in my balls. I am so
double down
curious. Yeah, I'll triple down. My heart is in my balls.
Best fits are probably wide receiver, linebacker, O tackle, and yet I think for the Browns, and yet I think we are going quarterback.
I think quarterback is the best fit for this team still.
I'm still sitting
just
here.
because there isn't a great one doesn't mean we don't need one. But we need all the things you listed too.
I've never been more excited to hit a chime.
Ding, 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 ding.
It's in. Let's go.
I'm not even mad that we have dead space right now because I can't even think of anything other than I want to know what this pick is. You know what I mean?
I will say that the graphics just changed to the Browns over outside of Lambeau. What a historic place too to have the draft. I think it's a cool. I've always wanted to visit Lambeau. Shout out Rich, by the way, huge Packers fan from there. But that's one of my bucket list places to see a game.
I live in Lakewood, one street over from Lakewood Stadium, which isn't only the home of Lakewood football, it's the home of St. Ed's. And on Friday nights in football season, it's unbelievable that a stadium that might have 10,000 people in it for Ed's and Ignatius, maybe more than that, is right in my backyard, and that's what Lambeau is. It's like houses and people's tree lawns, and you're like, oh, I'm in, Cleveland Heights, and then all of a sudden you're like, damn, that's the Packers stadium.
If I'm not mistaken, the stadium holds more people than residents.
Yes.
And the waiting list to get season tickets, you put your kids when they're born on it.
Yes.
Yep.
That's insane.
And the people own the franchise, if I'm not mistaken.
It is self-owned.
You can buy shares in the Green Bay Packers.
Doesn't mean much, but it is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
they're not moving the team out of Green Bay. That's what that means.
That's true.
Here we go.
This is wild.
Oh.
Who are the Browns, by the way? I know it's all Goodell for this first round, but who are the Browns bringing to do the pick tomorrow? Like, who's going to be their
Joe
historic?
Thomas.
Oh, we announced
Joe
it?
Thomas.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Very
Joe
cool.
Thomas. I think it is. If it's not Joe Thomas for that, he's the next pick in the whatever comes next. Now 36 probably. Oh, boy.
Pick is in.
Round 1, pick 5, picks in.
Roger Goodell is on the stage.
Onto the stage. All right. With the 5th overall pick of the 2025 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select
Mason Graham.
Wow, I'm disappointed in
It's
that.
a letdown.
Mason Graham, tackle from Michigan, defensive tackle. That's a bit of a letdown. I'm glad we got a haul because that's not what I expected there.
Mason Graham is considered one of the best, if not the best prospects. I know I didn't say it earlier.
At what position?
Defensive tackle. Let me finish. One of the best prospects in this draft. It's him, Abdul Carter, Genty, and Hunter. So they traded down and still got one of the top prospects in this draft. Now, is it the most sexy position? Is it the most needed position? No. I agree with you. But
stop right there. Is it the most needed position? And your answer was no.
No.
yeah.
Then why do you draft him?
And here's the thing that I would do to take it even farther. Tell me who plays his position on the Kansas City Chiefs or the Philadelphia Eagles
I don't
or the
think that
Boston
means
Ravens.
that the position isn't
Producer
important.
Deshaun, who is the defensive tackles for the Kansas
I
City
didn't ask
Chiefs.
Deshaun. I asked you.
Yeah, okay.
You're the one who
that's fine.
likes the pick.
I don't like the pick. I just don't hate the pick. I'm disappointed in the pick too. Yes, I'm a Shador fanboy, but you guys still didn't let me finish because they now have 2 picks in the second, 2 first rounds next year. They have a plethora of assets to trade back into this thing and get a quarterback in the first round.
Did Myles Garrett not say we're in win now mode? That's why I'm re-signing. My man took the money. Can we finally admit that?
unless they're going to pull off another move tonight that we haven't foreseen.
We were so excited for that move to get, first of all, a guy from Michigan. I don't care if he's the best at his. I hope he burns his Michigan gear. I hope he doesn't say. I hope he says his high school when they ask him for like Sunday night football. Because I'm not happy about this pick.
It'll be fine. I'm sure the kid will be good. It's another ho-hum pick from a ho-hum franchise. It's not going to mean anything.
Bingo.
If he's the best ever at his position, we win 2 more games next year. And they're telling us they're going to win now, and I don't feel how a tackle does that on either side of the ball, frankly.
Okay, but what happens if, say we get to pick 9 here, and the Saints trade the pick to the Browns to take Shador Sanders?
So you can't do that. Let's say that Tom Brady gets in a time machine, is 30, and wants to play in Cleveland. Oh, that would be dope. But, let's do something that could happen.
Okay,
like, we're
but
going to trade back up with the
It
Saints.
could happen. We have all this capital, these assets now.
Mm-hmm.
There's a high potential of something crazy still happening here. I like this pick, depending on what else happens in the draft.
So this could be semantics because you're 100% right. We don't know what the rest of the night or the rest of the weekend's going to bring. My evaluation of do you like this pick is based on right this second. And right now we haven't traded up with the Saints, and right now we don't have other people in the pipeline. Right now, you traded back, you got some assets, and you took a tackle.
Are we?
And if you're saying, what do you
Listen,
think
we
right
got
now?
we got a comment. Ryan Bento says, who won the Super Bowl for Philly, Hurts or the D-line?
By the way, you don't have to interrupt us to have a user comment. You can let us finish our thought, and then they're not running the show. We
Okay,
are.
you can be upset that you didn't get your comment in first. Go ahead. Who won, Philly or the D tackles?
Hurts or the D tackle.
the
Hurts,
D-
you mean?
Yes. Sorry.
If the D tackles were as good as you thought they were, you'd know their
D-line.
names and not just say D tackles.
It's the D-line.
I ask my dad the same
D-line.
thing every morning when we have the same
That's
conversation.
it's
I
a
say,
straw
name me
man
one.
argument,
Name me
man.
one player on the defensive line for the Eagles, and he can't do it. And neither can you
but
guys.
that doesn't
and you're trying
mean
to
that
make
the
argument.
position's not important. I'll take Noah's side on
You could
this.
say the same thing about the O-line. If you have no one good on the O-line,
You know real quick who's not on it. That's for sure.
I
just
think,
because it's
I
not
think
a highlight
when the Philadelphia Eagles scored 58 points in the NFC Championship and 52 points in the Super Bowl, to make the argument that the D line won the Super Bowl is asinine.
that's not asinine.
It
That-
is.
That is literally
That's
a
a
They
no.
could have
point.
given up 49
No,
points and won both of
because
those
That is a
games.
fair
reason-
point. The
the
pick.
reason-
Hold on, gentlemen. The pick is in for the Raiders, by the way. Okay, go on. Sorry.
Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis are the two defensive tackles for
Oh, we already know who the pick
Google it,
is.
too.
who?
Ashon Genty
To the Raiders?
to the Raiders.
I like that.
Interesting.
I'm playing the chime still, so. With the 6th overall pick, you've already heard.
I'd have been happier with this.
I agree.
100%.
This kid is
That's
good.
true.
Yeah.
So to get back on what we were talking about, so we can wrap it up and then we'll talk Genty real quick.
Yep.
Mahomes was sacked 6 times in that Super Bowl.
Good-
Shout
good-
out to Ryan Bento for that.
Great job out of the Eagles defensive line. I didn't say they were bad.
Okay. The reason the Philly dominated that game was because the defense suffocated Patrick Mahomes.
So the 50 points had nothing to do with it.
It does, but you don't get to 50 points by also stopping them to hit that many points.
Listen, to play devil's
it's a
advocate.
momentum game. It's not just you're going to go out there and score 50. Go ahead.
Play devil's advocate. Everybody that I was watching the game with, Noah included, the biggest takeaway was the defense for Philly. I'm not saying you're not right that scoring the points is what mattered, but I think it was more the juxtaposition, though, that we were shocked of what unfolded because we didn't expect that at all.
It is a fantastic D-line. It is a part of the key to the recipe to win a Super Bowl. No, it's not the sexiest pick.
When? We need a quarterback to win a
Philly.
Super
I
Bowl.
don't-
I was
that's-
talking about Browns.
That's the main point I was going to come back to over the whole thing. Every team that you name also has a stud at quarterback. Yes, the Eagles' defensive line was good. Yes, they played a big role in their success. They have Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
We don't. We got 42-year-old Joe Flacco. Then we got Kenny Pickett and nothing right now.
Do you
And to
not
think that another defensive tackle or pass rusher is going to make us the Eagles is insane.
I'll be happy with this pick if we do trade back in. We now have a free first rounder to trade and get somebody that we talked about.
Agreed.
I think I mean, we're going to be sitting here watching the whole thing, talking with the people. Appreciate everyone out there watching yet again. I think we're going to see the Cleveland Browns make another selection almost for sure in my mind tonight now.
Almost for sure.
Almost for sure. Yeah, that's an expression.
Guaranteed maybe.
Guaranteed maybe.
My point is, you're really like, are you sure or are you not sure that they're going to
I'm
do
like
that?
95.
That's pretty
pretty
high.
sure.
That
Yeah.
they're going to trade back in. That's
All
interesting.
right, let me play the other side of your exact same argument. Let's say the Browns are done for tonight. You still feel as good about this pick as you did before?
Lesser, 100%.
We
Yeah,
got a
lesser.
text that
I think we're on the
said,
same page.
we got a text in that says, tell Bento we have D-line, always best player on the board.
And Ryan Bento says, guys, what QB from this draft class is winning us a Super Bowl?
Shador Sanders or Cam Ward.
So you'll
If Shador ends up being
put my
Jalen
head at
Hurts.
the stake for
Now, I won't put your head at your stake. I would sacrifice the second best defensive lineman in this draft for a quarterback.
would I sacrifice
with
you for
potential.
a Super Bowl? Probably.
yes, I would sacrifice both of you live on air. No, I'm just
Wow.
kidding.
Not that kind of stream,
I wouldn't
guys.
sacrifice either of you for a Super Bowl.
That's when we get flagged by
If it makes you
YouTube.
guys feel
Yes,
better.
that means you're a better friend.
I had told you that before that comment, but
You don't pay on time or
It's interesting. It's interesting. When do you think we see the Browns on the board again?
tomorrow.
second
That's
round.
the fucking problem.
Yeah.
You really think?
Yes. I think we're done.
You didn't want to get your hopes up with the pick.
I could be wrong.
And then
but
you
I
got
think
excited of what we got to trade back. And then you didn't want to get your hopes up that we were going to pick Shador. And now you're selling us on this
I'm not
D-lineman?
to be completely candid. I am not trying to sell you on the D lineman. I am trying to say it's a smart pick for the reasons of it being a good player.
By the way, he
top
did
five.
play center for Michigan as well, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I think it was a backup or something.
Yeah,
I think
didn't
he
know
got
that.
snaps at center. I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me.
He is one of the top prospects in this draft. So I get the logic there. Am I 100% happy about it? No. Do I want to see other things happen? Yes. I've answered all of those questions for you guys.
Are you old enough to remember guys named Courtney Brown and Gerard Warren?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I know of.
Okay.
I mean,
Highly
yes.
touted, can't miss, got to get him. Defensive lineman. If you're stupid if you don't, because these are the best at their position. Excellent. Bust. And even if they're good, you get Myles Garrett, and we didn't win that much. I just don't. My point isn't that the position doesn't matter at all. My point isn't that this kid isn't good at his position. My point is it doesn't meaningfully change next season for this team, even if he's an absolute stud.
Maybe he didn't
And
play
that's what
center.
I'm disappointed about.
I don't.
I think I'm wrong on
We
that.
must be thinking about the same guy.
We
There
had
was a guy
the.
who played offensive and defensive line for Michigan as a backup. Who
I
was in?
thought it was him, but I'm not seeing anything on it.
It's not. It's nothing against this kid. It's nothing against anything. The position, defensive linemen do matter. I just don't. If you ask me a half an hour ago, how many wins do the Browns have next season? And then you saw who we took at 5, and you ask how many wins the Browns have next season, the answer is exactly the same.
I think part of it too is you got to think bigger picture here, and I think they're trying to think bigger
We've
picture.
been thinking bigger picture since fucking 1999.
I
When do you
understand.
stop thinking bigger picture?
When you're actually good. We're not actually
But
good.
we're failing at bigger picture. It doesn't take
not
a
this-
century.
It's not this
Shouldn't.
front office. It's not this front office's fault,
But
that's
it's
the
as
status
a
quo for
whole.
us.
So we're saying, hey,
It's not even
we
completely
sold
Jimmy
Miles.
Haslam. He bought the team in 2012.
We sold Miles on we're going to be a team money, and now, like, where are we? We're no better than we
Nowhere.
were.
And that's what's frustrating about this entire thing. And this is why I say the draft in Cleveland pisses me off. Because, Noah, your opinion is probably about what we think is 75, 80% of fans probably think. Everybody's just okay with perpetual mediocrity because it was quote-unquote a smart pick. You got quote-unquote an important position. That isn't true. The reason I used the argument about the Chiefs and the Eagles to say who plays this position on their team wasn't to say the defensive lines don't matter. It was to get you to say, well, Pat Mahomes had a lot to do with it.
You
The
guys
last
ready for
5
this
years.
headline?
Jalen Hurts had
Go
a lot
for
to
it.
do with it the last few years.
Ready
Like,
for this headline?
Sure.
Browns' Travis Hunter trade mistake could be a generational error akin to Deshaun Watson deal. Man,
That's glass half empty. But
Where is that from?
that
Sporting
is from
News?
Sporting News.
Jesus.
Says they were oh so close to finally doing something right. I like trading out of that number 2 pick for what we got. I don't like with what we did with it at number 5.
Okay, let me ask you this. I'm playing devil's advocate a little bit more just to think about the Browns on the macro, right? 3 years from now.
Yeah.
I know that
Got a
sucks.
crystal fucking ball, but go on.
Right. We're playing hypotheticals here.
Uh-huh.
3 years from now, Mason Graham, Myles Garrett, and co. Michael Hall being one of them as well, who is a promising young D tackle. So
DJ Watt? Steelers aren't going to pay him.
Okay, I'm not
We're
going
in
that
fantasy
crazy.
land, but go on.
I'm not going that crazy. The Browns end up not taking a quarterback this year, taking one next year because it's touted to be a better quarterback class.
Okay.
That kid hits, and by the end of year 2, you're upset right now, but we have a quarterback. We got a top prospect in a weaker draft class on top of everything else.
And if
that
we're picking 12th next year because we made the playoffs with Joe Flacco,
now you have another pick to trade up.
Oh, chime time.
Let's see who the Jets took, and then I want to respond too.
The New York Jets have selected Armand Membu. We were talking about that O-tackle from Missouri a little bit
He's a
earlier.
monster.
Oh, yeah. Okay, he slipped my mind, so I want to take that back for a
I'm
second.
yeah, I didn't want to call you on it, but when you're like
you should have. When you
overrated,
said
I'm
his
like,
name, I would have
okay.
been like, no. I was thinking of one of the guys later that was on the top 30 board, and
Gotcha.
anyway, it doesn't matter.
So he is now a New York Jet. Another poverty franchise means nothing.
Which is interesting because this is the second time they've taken a guy, Mekhi Becton being the other one, that was a tackle in college and probably would be a better guard in the NFL.
I just saw, by the way, New York Jets are the only team in professional sports, basically, MLB, NBA, and NFL, to not make the playoffs since, I forget the date.
Really?
I just saw
It's got to
the
be
stat.
Herm Edwards back when they had like Chad Pennington.
It was a long time.
The Bart Scott, can't wait. That was like the last time the Jets were good. It's been a long time.
That's
I
crazy.
want to come back to something you said. Nothing you said was wrong. Here's the problem I have with it, though. Browns fans who get excited about offensive and defensive tackles and tight ends and stuff when we need bigger skill positions always do the same thing. All right, we took this guy, but let me paint you a picture. In 11 years, when 832 things fall our way, and Joe Burrow's son is playing for the Browns, won't you be happy? I'm like, yeah, sure, but what are we supposed to do until then? Like, what are we going to do next season about the Browns based on this draft? I don't want a picture of drafting a kid who still hasn't played his last year. We get Arch Manning, and in 2 years he's good.
I agree with this take. Next year,
like, for God's sake.
Next year, the
But you know what
highest
year?
ever Mega Millions I'm going to hit. And I'm going to buy the brand. Like, we're in fantasy land.
It's
Listen,
so
hold on.
wild. It's so wild.
The comments are in, by the way. I'm done. The team up north. Another Cleveland shit pick. Bye-bye. I'm so pissed I'm going to bed. Our management is terrible.
I'm going to bed.
That is the fan reaction right now from Cleveland.
Sure.
I hope they go to bed, and I hope we trade back in and get something exciting.
Mason Graham once again blew it. But he does wear 55. This must be one of your buddies.
55. No, it's my uncle, actually.
Oh.
55 was his high school.
He could be your
football
buddy,
number.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he is my buddy. Shout out Randy.
Was he at the live that we did?
No,
on the
he was.
Martinis?
It's my other uncle.
Because he might be our buddies now too. I met a
No,
lot
that's
of
Barry. Barry's in here as well. I get what you're saying, but I think the whole thing of you comparing it to the lottery is the exact testament of what the NFL is. A lottery to be good.
I don't think it is
No.
for the Titans right now. And I
Why?
don't think it is for the Jacks. Because they got good players.
The Titans?
They got Cam Ward, didn't they?
Yeah. What if Cam Ward doesn't work? You don't know that Cam Ward's going to
don't
work.
know that
That's
an
not the
offensive.
point.
Yeah, you're missing it. Which
It's
is
not-
You
okay.
guys are thinking so negatively about this compared to that's what the argument is. I'm being optimistic about the pick because Mason Graham's like
No, here's the problem. We could have said we're picking a Wunko Kawumbo, who I just made up, and you'd be like, listen, guys, we needed that position.
That's not
That's a
true.
great pick. That's the problem.
That's not true.
And the other point is this: you never actually answered my question.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay because we got sidetracked. A lot of it was my fault, but I want to come back to it because I can boil my whole argument down to you in this: how many wins would you have said the Browns had before this pick? And knowing nothing else, not speculating about 3 years from now or what we could do later tonight or what we could do in 15 minutes. Right now, we had the number 2 pick. We traded to 5. We took a player. What was your record for the Browns before that pick, and what is your record after the pick?
It would be the same answer though.
That's the end of my argument. We
But
didn't do anything to
can I-
get better,
Can I
even
finish?
though we're better at a position.
Same answer as Shador?
Yeah, because Shador isn't playing next year. Neither is Milrow if they take him. Neither is Dart. The only quarterback in this class that I think is playing meaningful snaps next year in the NFL
Definitely Cam Ward.
is Cam Ward.
Yeah. I think
mean,
Shador would play, though.
I don't know. Yeah, I think we'd see time. And
He might not
again,
start week 1, but he plays.
see Washington. You never know what's going to happen.
I agree, but you're making that argument for Shador, a guy I'm in favor of, but not letting that argument make sense for Mason Graham or anything else. What if this kid is the greatest defensive tackle since sliced bread? I could come
We
up
have
with
the greatest defensive end since sliced bread, and we watched him go 1-15.
Bingo.
We
That
watched him
is-
go
Oh,
0-16. Why
in
would you-
his rookie year.
But it's the best ever. Generational talent, like you were calling Abdul Carter.
I agree, but you don't get there and win the big one just having a quarterback.
You do. Washington was putrid, awful,
Did
terrible
they win a Super Bowl?
for 20 years.
Did
they
they
went
win
to an NFC
Did
championship
they win a
game.
Super Bowl?
That's not the question.
What is
That's
the
an asinine question.
What is the ultimate goal of an NFL season?
We had this episode.
You can't
See,
use
like,
that argument.
what is
and
the
be
ultimate-
convenient
episode
and
27?
then not
What
use
is-
it.
what
If
is-
you think the goal for the Cleveland Browns next season is to win a Super Bowl, you are high.
I mean, I think it is
There
the
are-
goal going
there
into
are-
the season.
There
but
are 20 teams. who,
There's
if they're being
more
honest with
going
themselves,
on
Are
with-
absolutely not worried about
There's
winning
more
a Super
going-
Bowl next year.
There's more going on with this team than just next season.
I think it's a good
I know you
time.
might not make it to live past next season,
Okay.
buddy.
You ain't either. You keep it up.
I think that's a good time.